Okay, I get so excited when I get to introduce people to you guys. If you haven't already listened to the solo episode of these individual beautiful women who are God fearing and kingdom building every single day in and out through their own professions, through their home fronts, through their podcasts, through the way that they show up to life, you're going to be blessed. So, this is about kingdom over competition, right? Not even community, all right? People are always like, community over competition. I'm like, no, it's kingdom over everything, right? So here we are, bringing heaven to earth. Melissa Hughes, one of my dear mama friends. She's also a fellow masterminder with me, and we just love to create together. She actually gifted me an amazing book about creativity and the heart of the Father and being playful in nature, and she really exudes this through the way that she teaches people about how to have camera courage. In addition to the fact that she has been on the Kelly Clarkson show a couple times and she's TikTok famous in all of the metrics that you'll see, she just has a heart of gold and a heart for people. And that's one of the reasons she's coming, is to not only teach you all about the dynamic elements of camera courage and how can you establish that now, but also how to grow your social from your own passions and what God has put inside of you. I think we're always trying to like build things exteriorly, and God's like, I am more concerned with your heart. I am more concerned with what's going on internally, and then how are we birthing that, no pun intended towards all the mamas listening, into existence. And so I love Melissa. We got connected at a podcast event several years ago. Now she has her own podcast. We kind of are going to make a debut of our own coming up here soon with some of our other sisters. And yeah, you're just going to love her. And I can't wait for you guys to learn from her, because that's one of the things I love, because she's so freely available when it comes to value serving. And that's something that's important in the business world and the kingdom. Let's go.
Yeah, so it's kind of a crazy story, but it was back in January of 2021, and actually even a little bit before then. My husband and I had just moved home from church planting over in the UK, and um, we needed to get home. We needed to have a house. Like we needed everything because we had just sold everything and moved transatlantically, and we had two children, and we were literally living with my in-laws. And I remember just praying, being like, God, like, what's the next step? And then the next step was COVID. So we're like living with,
Yay.
yes, isn't it just the timing? So we're like living with my in-laws, no jobs, nothing. We need a house. And my husband's like, look, you're going to need to get a job. You can't be a stay-at-home mom anymore because we need the income. Well, the only job that I could get was a job in childcare. And so I'm literally, and any mom right now, please lean into this because hopefully you can understand the pain. I would go and drop my kids off at one end of the building and go and look after somebody else's.
Mm.
And it wasn't like even a job that, like, if I'm going to be looking after kids, I want to be looking after my own. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, for sure.
And so I'm just like praying, and I'm like in this place where I'm like, gosh, like I really don't know what the next step is. God, I felt like was always really clear with me about like what I should do next, but it was like he was silent. I really felt like I have no idea like what I'm supposed to do. And I was praying about it, and for months, months and months and months, was rejected from job after job. Um, and I was like, gosh, Lord, I just don't even know. And I felt this one day I was listening to a podcast, and it was focused on the family, which I love. And I was listening to Jim Daly talk, and I was like, gosh, I love this podcast. I love how he just interviews people and he's able to, hear their life story. And I said to God, I was like, God, I would love a job where I could just talk to people all day, because if we're being really honest, that's really all I'm actually good at. Like, I don't have
Not
computer
true, but
skills.
I get you.
Yeah. But it was like everything I was looking at on Indeed, was like
Yeah.
all these things. I was like, no, that's not
Yeah.
what I'm good at.
Yeah.
And literally a couple months later, I felt God start speaking to me about posting videos online, like so clearly. And the very first video that I uploaded, which was just a video of my kids sledding, it was literally the first video that was on my phone. It was a video of my kids sledding. I uploaded it to TikTok, which was a video platform. And the next morning, I woke up and that video generated 22 million views, and I landed a spot on the Kelly Clarkson show. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I feel like
Okay,
I'm,
God.
yeah, I feel like this is confirmation. And so then I just started learning content creation. And a year later, I headed into entrepreneurship. And this is my job now, where I talk to people all day.
It's so good. And it's so neat, you guys, because when I met her, she was kind of in this place of like, all I'm really teaching about and talking about is motherhood, because that was what that first video did. And it's been such a beautiful journey to witness the evolution of that. And I always speak to people about you don't have to stay stuck in the one thing, especially knowing that we are multifaceted, multi passionate people. And you should be able, if you're creating a brand around yourself, you should be able to talk about all the things that you love and it still makes sense to your audience. And so I love learning how to parent through Melissa Hughes, but I also love how you bring to life the opportunity to be a creator and to do it through the fun of entrepreneurship, because you do it in a lot of different ways. You're also an author, a best-selling author, for those that didn't know. So tell them about that story, because I think that there's a neat evolution for your own journey on, okay, I started posting videos, I started learning videos, and then this thing happened.
Yes. So, I guess there's two parts to that because actually I wrote a book before I was a content creator in 2016, and it was called She Can Laugh. And Tamra, I know that you used to be in the health field and still are, you still practice what you preach and everything, but loved like the holistic health message. And I fell into that and I wrote a book about it. But it wasn't for entrepreneurship or like, it literally was like, I would love to I just like to write. So I'm just going to do this thing. Yeah. And so I had that book that I just did nothing with, but other than like shared it with friends and family. And then when I started creating content, one of the videos that I created went so viral. I had a children's book company reach out to me and say, "Hey, would you like to make this into a kid's book?" And it was wild. He was a Christian as well. And he prayed, God, who's somebody I should like reach out to? And my video came up. And so we ended up connecting. He made a kid's book out of one of my TikToks, and it's been incredible. Like, I don't think people realize when you put yourself out there, you're also opening yourself up to new opportunities
Yep.
that you never would have had you not put yourself out there.